You taking all that on this trip? Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for hanging out with me on Wisdom on Wednesday. And I'm Ray, your host. Appreciate you sharing the podcast, appreciating you with your comments in the comments section. Thank you so much for bringing energy to our topics each and every week. I look forward to sharing, and I'm super excited about subject matter for today. So let's get into it. Wise friends, a question for you. Are you taking all of that on this trip? Wise friends, maybe we need to unpack your bags. Many times we fall back on past situations, fall back on things in our life that impacted us positively and negatively. And we use those events to continue to make just decisions going forward. As a young person, I moved a lot. I had an opportunity to, my mother and I would move maybe 13, 14 times before I was 14 years old. And I know it sounds like a sad story, but what it did was it gave me the ease to be able to pick up and go at the drop of a dime. Not really have an opportunity to grow roots. Sounds like a terrible after school special show, but there's more to the story. What happened was we were able to grow up together. My mother had me when she was young, and so I had an opportunity to watch someone struggle. But I had the opportunity also to watch her go through the emotional situationships to decide what bags need to go into the next trip. Did we have the things that were adequate for our day-to-day living, or did we want to bring the things that brought memories to us, to bring the things with us that we were favorable of, favorite blankets, things of that nature? Even if we didn't have enough space, maybe in our minds we had to make enough physical space because these things were already impactful emotionally, so they were full of our heart space. And when we're moving, when we're packing, many times we take things that have an emotional attachment to us. Not necessarily things that we need, but things that we want to comfort us, things that we want to remind us, things that we want to actually go forward with. But so we'll go from this place to that place, and then sometimes back to that place again. And I would always remember her sitting in the living room, smoking some cool shorts, drinking a Pepsi, maybe a Snickers. And every now and then you could see a tear fall down her eye, because as she was considering putting something in the bag, she also had a very, very important decision to make. She had to make the decision that even though she wanted it, was it something that was going to be necessary, or did she have enough room? You see, you always have to evaluate what you're bringing into the next season if you have enough room to maintain it, if you have enough room to help it grow. Do you have enough room to enjoy your new without making it overcrowded with your old? You see, I could take that story a little bit further. I was what you call 11 Bravo in the United States Army. Infantry soldier, foot soldier, speed bump, security guard. So we had these things called road marches because my unit was light infantry. Light infantry only means that we carried a whole bunch of stuff on our backs instead of getting carried in with loud trucks so we could sneak up on the enemy. Light infantry. So the thought process was that we would pack these 80-pound rucksacks. We would walk wearing combat boots and wool green socks. Now, wearing your basic fatigues, wearing your helmet, your battle gear, whatever weapon you were issued, all of those things were necessary because here was the premise. The premise was, if this was wartime, that we would have the advantage of being on the main roads and we could set up a perimeter swiftly. So you have men staggered on both sides of the road just in case war broke out. So we were playing G.I. Joe, pretend. And here's something I'll never ever forget. Like as we were packing that backpack, that rucksack for this walk, the walk wasn't the conclusion or the climax of the adventure. You see, we will walk unto these things called bivouac. So we would go out into the field and we would practice war. Those excursions would take sometimes from 21 days all the way up to 60 some days. Now, all we would know is when we were going and when we possibly could come back. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. All the things that were allotted to you was completely up to you what you could pack in your rucksack, what you would need on your day-to-day excursions. You see, if you knew you were going 60 days, you might want to take several clean t-shirts and several packs of socks. You see, if you were going to be gone for several weeks, you might have taken an extra uniform just in case yours got dirty. You see, at nighttime, it got cold. It was in the 90s in the daytime, but when you're sleeping outside on the ground, you sweat all day, no showers, and that air comes down and you're freezing. They had these things called sleep shirts, one of my favorite pieces of uniform. It was perfect on your skin. If it was hot, it cooled you off. If it was cold outside, it warmed you up. So you had all these decisions to make. Do I bring an extra pair of boots in case the ones that I bring don't feel good on this particular pavement? But let me get back to the root of this. Are you going to pack all of that? Even though you know you're going on a long excursion, the cost of what you're going to pack, you have to carry. So if you carried an extra uniform, you got to remember you're walking 26 miles. If you brought extra camo, if you brought extra food because you don't like the chow hall food in the field, you have to carry everything that you desire. If you want to walk into your next season with success, you have to evaluate the things that's in your rucksack. So I'll ask you the question again. Are you going to take all of that into your new season? Are you going to take all of the ways people treated you poorly on your last job into your new assignment? Are you going to treat your new coworkers poorly because the last coworkers didn't treat you right? Are you going to be stingy with your conversation because people mishandled the way you spoke? Are you not going to be pleasant? Are you not going to be kind because people weren't kind and they didn't reciprocate how pleasant you are as a Christian man or woman of God? Are you going to take the old hurt? Are you going to take the old disappointment? Are you going to pack that? Please understand, whatever you pack in your rucksack from last season going into the new season, you have to carry it. And many times when we were carrying those rucksacks, we had our weapons in our hands, and I had something called an M249. They called it a saw. So it was a machine gun, but it had a drum of 250 rounds. So just because I carried a machine gun, people liked to be close to me because if we came under fire, I had the big gun. And in order to carry the big gun, you had to have big guns. You'll get it later. So, but I couldn't only carry one drum, I had to carry several drums because my assignment was, in order for all of these soldiers to make it to their next destination, I was already allotted to carry the machine gun so everybody could have safe cover. But it wasn't because I was strong, it wasn't because I was better than anyone else, it was because that was my assignment. And since that was my assignment, I had to carry enough ammo to cover all of my battle buddies. So I carried one drum of 250 rounds on the weapon, and I carried an extra drum inside my rucksack. Now you see where this story is going? Sometimes you carry more things in your backpack for yourself, but sometimes we're also carrying other people's hurt in our backpacks. Sometimes we're carrying other people's letdowns into our new seasons. I just want to implore you today that if you're still worrying about the way your child's father treated your baby or that they weren't there for them, you can't carry that into your new relationship because you're not going to treat your new boo appropriately because you're thinking about the way the old boo treated your child. You can't continue to worry about those things that other people are let down about. You're depressed because you're worried about everybody else's depression. You have anxiety because you're worried about everybody else who's anxious right now. You can't keep a job and be where you need to be because you're trying to let everybody else keep their jobs. You can't focus on your ministry because you're worried about everybody else who can't focus on their ministry. You see where we're going? Are you going to pack all of that? You prayed and asked God to allow you to move into a new season, and you have the autonomy to pack whatever you want to take from the old season into the new. You've got all the extra comfortable things for yourself, and are you willing to pack somebody else's baggage into your bag before you go into the next season? Remember the cost. You've got to carry that bag. You've got to walk that walk. You're going into your new season. What will you carry? What will you take? Will you take what you need, or will you take what you want and the needs and the cares and the affairs of everybody around you? You've got your children on your heart. You got your aging parents on your heart. You got your loving church members on your heart. You've got people that don't do you right, but you always do them right on your heart. You see where we're going? How much longer are you going to carry other people's baggage and you can't handle your own stuff? And finally, the tactic that I used when I was walking, I would break down my dry meal. I will put some in one pocket. I'll put other dry food in the other pocket. And then I'll put some more food in my cargo pants pockets. You see, my strategy was this. If I was walking 26 miles, I knew I had the strength, I knew I had the willpower, but I needed to have the right focus. And I figured if I could focus on just putting one foot in front of the other, the way I would take my mind off of my current task was to eat something every couple of miles. You see, it's important to know that if you're going to keep walking the way the Lord called you to walk, you've got to taste and see that the Lord is good. So every now and then you've got to take time and you've got to eat the Word of God. You've got to eat something that's going to allow you to keep going despite the elements, despite how uncomfortable it is, despite the people who congratulate you. You've got to stop, thank the Lord, read His Word, and remind yourself of why you're walking anyway. That you have to remind yourself from where you came from to where you're going, because it will be difficult. It will be hard, but you're going to make it into your next season. My question remains on the floor. You're going into your next season. Are you going to pack all of that? Are you going to not celebrate Father's Day because you had a poor experience with your father? The devil is a lie. If your father wasn't the one who showed you how to be a good daughter or a good son, you have a man in your life who was that representation for you. Take time to celebrate them. And I got a harder challenge for you. You need to unpack that unforgiveness that you have for your father. Take it out your bag. Allow you to be who God called you to be. Don't harbor that poor feeling in your heart. Don't carry that. It's too heavy. Your hands are being tired. The straps on your rucksack is about to break because of all the old hurt you keep carrying in your bag. You're not going to celebrate Father's Day. You're already in a bad mood because it's this week. Take it out your bag. I want you to stop. I want you to change your socks. I want you to put your bag down, reach down deep and find that old hurt and pull it out and leave it on the side of the road and keep walking into your new season. Because if you don't get that unforgiveness out of your bag is going to be too heavy for you to walk into the new season, and you won't complete your task, and you won't do the things that God called you to do. Remember, while you're walking that walk, the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. So that means it's still going to be difficult, but God has a plan. It may not be the route that you want to take, but God has a plan. And before I let you go, I want to tell you one last story that never ever leave my mind when I consider walking and carrying that heavy rucksack, when I consider wearing that helmet that was hot in 102 degrees, carrying that assault weapon with those combat boots and those green wool socks. We would hear the rumble of trucks coming down that road, and everybody would fantasize and have the thought process that somebody would hit the brakes and you would hear the squeal of that deuce and a half that was empty when it rolled by. But I got some news for you, wise friends. The deuce and a half wasn't by itself. There was 4 deuce and a half trucks, just enough people, or just enough trucks to pick our entire platoon up, that everybody could get a ride to our destination and we could play in the field for 60 days or so. But I want you to visualize this, that you're walking, the sun is out, mirages on your eyes, you're seeing sandwiches on the side of the road because you're tired, and you hear the rumble of these trucks. You say, oh my Lord, my prayers have been answered. These trucks are coming to pick us up. I've been walking into this new season. I've been walking into this new destiny, and I'm tired of doing it by myself. Here comes the truck. But the truck comes and you don't hear the squeal of the brakes. The trucks come and they even toot their horn, toot toot, and they ride right past us. Just slow enough for us to see that the backs of the trucks are empty. What a gut punch. You're doing as much as you can, and it seems like people come right by you and they don't lend a hand. It seems like everybody in the world can see you struggling. Everybody can see you trying to handle your heavy backpack, but nobody pulls over to offer to help you carry it. Nobody pulls over to help you unpack it. Nobody pulls over and offer you a ride. But I have one piece of great news for you. Even if people don't see you, even if people don't help you with your bag, understand that God says, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. I'll always be with you, even unto the ends of the earth. So if it's difficult, if it's hard, keep on walking. But learn to unpack the things that don't need to go into your next season. I pray this word was encouraging to you. And remember that God loves you more than you can possibly imagine. This is Ray with Wisdom on Wednesday. Have yourself a blessed day and a wonderful week. Take care.